Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to go through your rhythm number counts sheet. So you all should have received this sheet from your teacher, and just make sure that you have it in front of you as we go through, because I'm going to give you a lot of the answers and explain it. The first thing you'll see at the top of the sheet is that we are in time signature 4/4, meaning that there are 4 beats per measure. So this means that in most of these examples, you're going to be writing all the way up to number 4 to account for all the beats in each measure as we go along. If the time signature were 3/4, we would only be counting up to 3 beats in each measure. If the time signature were 6/8, how many numbers would you be counting up to in each measure? You should be saying 6, okay? I want you to answer these questions out loud as a class. If the time signature were 2/4, how many numbers would appear in each measure? You should be saying 2. We'd be counting up to 2. That's right. Okay, so this top line here, you can see what I did. Each one of these notes, is sort of assigned a number. You can see that where there would normally be a quarter note for beat 2, there's just a quarter rest. And now that number 2 is just kind of with parentheses. It's a placeholder number. So if I ever say, like, put the S on beat 4, I'm talking not about the 4th note necessarily, but rather the position 4. Okay, let's write in a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the next measure. So take your pencil, and below that quarter rest, you're going to write a number 1. Below the next 3 quarter notes, you will write 2, 3, 4. And we're missing something. In order to indicate the rest as a placeholder and not as a beat, we will put it in parentheses. So make that happen. Okay, you can keep kind of going along. The next measure, there's 2 quarter rests. We write 1, 2. Each one of them is surrounded by parentheses because they are simply placeholders. And we have a 3, 4 at the end. Final measure of the line, we have a 1, 2. And then I see a half rest. How many beats does a half rest get? You should all be saying 2. That's right. In that last measure, that half rest falls on beats 3 and 4. It takes up 2 numbers worth of beats. It takes up 3 and 4. Put parentheses around 3 and 4. And we're going to read this out loud. When you arrive at a number that is in parentheses, you're going to simply say the number like in your head. You're going to whisper it, or you're going to mouth the words for it. So the first measure there would sound like this: 1, 3, 4. Try it. Ready? Here we go. 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. Moving on. We're in the section now that is labeled elongations. It says elongations are indicated with small placeholding numbers. So instead of just having quarter notes, sometimes we have longer notes, right? And we wouldn't want to just call like the first note 1 and the second note 2, because there is that extra beat that these are taking up. So that's why I kind of did placeholding numbers for this second line of music. Let's work on that second measure that's not already labeled. So we're in the elongation section, and that first note is going to be number 1. Obviously, it's at the start of a measure. That next dotted half note, hold up on your fingers. How many beats does that get? You should be saying it gets 3. Okay, and it's going to take up 3 numbers. In this case, it starts on 2, and it takes up 2, 3, 4. When you go to write these, you're going to write big 2, and then 3 and 4 are going to appear kind of small next to it, so that it just shows that we're holding through those. Next measure, we start with a big 1 for our whole note. It gets 4 counts. So we have a big 1, and we have a baby 2, 3, 4. Next measure, we have a 1, 2, and what are they inside of? You should be saying parentheses because they're just placeholding numbers. And last but not least, we have a half note, which equals 2 counts. It's going to be holding 3 and 4. So we're going to write a big 3 and a placeholding 4. Now, when we read elongations, I like to do something that I invented called stretchy mouth, which is where you go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So the big number you say kind of loud and strong. The next number you kind of like stretch with your mouth to show that it's like all combined. This is why do's and do days are a little bit better than numbers. It's clearer to the listener what's going on. But let's read all of these elongations, and we're just going to do stretchy mouth for all the small numbers. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. So for that last measure, you should have mouthed 1, 2. Okay. Next. How you doing? Are you doing okay? Fantastic. We're looking at do's and due days for these. So you can see instead of due day, we say like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And instead of writing the whole word and, we just do a plus sign. A lot of you are familiar with this method. So that first measure, we have 2 beats of rest, which are indicated by parentheses. And then you see I have a 3 and 4 and. Now we have a bar line. We're in a new measure. Write in your number counts for the next measure. And we're finishing up here. Pause if you need more time. But that next measure should be 1 and 2 and 3, 4 are in parentheses. Okay, now we're on the third measure of the line. We start with a 1. Next we have an 8th note which falls on beat 2. Write it in. Next we have an 8th rest which takes up the and. So now we have an and in parentheses. We have a 3 and. Write those in. And we have a 4 in parentheses. So that third measure of the line should sound like 1, 2, 3, and. All right, final measure of the line. We have big 1. We have 2. The and is in parentheses again. We land on 3 and 4 and. Okay, take a moment to check your work with your neighbor. You can pause the video. And now we're going to move on. We're going to read the whole line that says, like, do is indicated by a number. Measure 9. 1 and 2, read out loud. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, moving on. We're in measure 13. It says, when a rest takes the place of a number, we use parentheses around the number, and the note is and. So this is obvious, right? Like anytime there's a rest, we just replace whatever like it's taking the place of. We put parentheses around it. It just sounds a little weird if I read it. Let me read that first measure to you. It sounds like this. And. Can you try that? Tap your toe. Tap, 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 tap. And now we're going to read the off beats. It's and. Okay. Here we go. Let's get that second measure of that line. We have big 1. Write it in. We have 2. We have an and in parentheses. We have 3 and 4 and. Next measure. This is the third measure of line 13. We have big 1, 2, 3. Our 4 should be in parentheses, followed by an and. And the final measure of that line, we have 1 and. We have a 2 in parentheses. Then we have an and, 3 and 4. Check your work with your neighbor. Pause the video. All right, coming back here, we're going to read line 13 as a class. 1 and 2, and here we go. It's and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 3 and 4. That one's a little trickier. Okay, moving on to line 17. It says dots are indicated by a number and a small number. So you know how I always make you go like do when we have a dotted quarter note? Well, all of a sudden we're just doing stretchy mouth like 1, 2, or 2, 3, or 3, 4, and. So you can see what I did for that first measure there. You can see how I had that dotted quarter note take up 2 numbers, even though it's technically only worth 1.5 beats. You can see that the second half of beat 3 is just falling on the 8th note. Let's try the second measure there. So get your pencil ready. We have number 1, big. We have small 2, it's a placeholder. Next we have big 3. We have small 4. And big and. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Check your work with your neighbor. Make sure you got that second measure down. Next, we have the third measure of that line. Pause if you need to. It starts with big 1. There's a baby 2. Big and then the last part of the measure is what? 3 and 4, and you should be saying. Finish writing that. And the last measure of line 17. Write in your work. Write in your answer. You can pause if you need to. You should be writing 1 and 2 and. Then we have big 3, small 4, and big and. Let's read the whole line. Line 17. A 2, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and. All right, we're taking a look at line 21. Ties are just like elongations. So the first note's big, and then the rest of the notes are small. Okay, take a moment to write in that second measure there. It's a big 1. Then we have small 2 3s. And our 4 should be inside of what? Parentheses, you should be saying. And actually, now that I think of it, the next measure is the same exact thing. Same exact number counts. And then the final measure there is big 1, and everything else is held through. So 2, 3, 4, small. Let's try it. Line 21, read out loud, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, off. 1, 2, 3, off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Okay, repeat after me. Say, do, day, do, day, do, day, do. Listen for longer. Do, ta, data, do, ta, data, do, ta, data, do, ta, data. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay, so if you want to try to tackle line 25, this will be a bonus. But you can see I already started you out. When you're writing 16th notes in this number counting system, you say 1E and a. And then you already know how to write 8th notes and everything. So if you're starting out at that second measure, you're just going to be writing 1E and, 2E and hopefully that gets you started enough. If you want to try the number counts for line 25, you can. Otherwise, that's a bonus, and congrats, you did it. Have a good day.